switch it up a little bit here, talk about some guidelines, policies, and procedures. So before delving into this too deeply, as I mentioned, keep in mind as we go forward the whole thing about answering the questions. Digital forensics should be question or impact or effect-based, meaning you're looking for specific things, right? You're not necessarily just grabbing a ton of stuff and then have to go weed through. You're looking for a particular item or you're looking for a particular path. Your initial time, yes, you're pretty much gathering a lot of information, but try to stay on track with answering specific questions throughout. So just keep in the back of your mind as we go along that the idea behind this is still right, taking care of it in such a way that it's going to be good for evidence, or if it's not necessarily for evidence, it may be to possibly fire somebody. So as we go through this, keep in mind that if you have the questions, go to a general counsel. Try to get the information there. Ask for help. This isn't supposed to be done in a vacuum. Yeah, you're by yourself and you're pulling data off of drives and such. But in the way you handle things, remember to reach out and use your resources as you go through this process. So part of that, of course, is if you have guidelines, policies, and procedures, these are extremely important to maintaining the integrity of the process and your information, right? This says due to legal circumstances, but it could be for other reasons, right? Your organization should put together very concise, very accurate, very well-written policies and guidelines for digital forensics. This is in order to keep that integrity alive. It should be a cultural thing within your organization. When you do digital forensics, it should be with the end in mind. In this case, making sure your, to use a term, chain of custody is good, right? We haven't gotten quite there yet, but we're talking about the entire process, and it starts with these, right? The policies and procedures are what's going to help you. If you don't quite know, it should be in your policies and your procedures. Your checklists should help you do these correctly. You should not mess up an investigation. You should not mess up some sort of collection because you had fuzzy instructions, right? So this is very, very important that your organization puts together. And I realize most of you will probably be the ones putting them together, actually, because you'll be the ones probably on the ground. If not specifically the ones, the hands on the keyboard, maybe middle management level folks who are setting these policies and these procedures up. So, but just remember that the key is having solid policies and having solid procedures and checklists to go through this. And along with having the policy, it has to be enforced, right? You have to make sure. And I think of, since I was in the military, I think of classified information as being a huge thing, right? We had policies, and if you broke them, you could lose your security clearance, right? And that's a big deal. So not quite the same in the civilian sector, I don't think, but you don't want to sit there and do all this effort, all this work, and then just because one of your procedures was slightly off and it wasn't actually the correct way of doing things that'll be good for evidentiary proof, if you will, you don't want that to be the reason that you spent all these man hours and all this money to do this investigation, and then it just goes for naught because the policy or maybe not the policy, I shouldn't say that, the procedures and the checklists aren't done right. So going forward, remember that this is the starting point, the baseline of what it is, right?